Hi and welcome to Swedish Plantguys. In this video we will show you a very easy way of creating your own self-watering pot. Now if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Now let's go! So starting off, these are the tools you'll be needing to create this very easy self-watering pot. You will of course need a plant, which we have here. And this plant, this Dracaena, is actually in need of a repot, so we'll be making that as well. You need an outer pot here, and that outer pot needs to be waterproof, since there will be standing water in the bottom of this pot later on. You will also be needing an inner pot, and that inner pot needs to have drainage holes in the bottom here, and it needs to be smaller than the outer pot so that it fits inside of here. Most important thing is that it needs to be a little bit shorter as well than the outer pot, because we're going to be raising this inside here. Now, to be able to raise this inside of the pot, we're actually going to use another inner pot here that we're going to cut to be able to raise that other inner pot. You will be needing a microfiber cloth like this, used for cleaning. If you can't get a hold of a microfiber cloth, you can use any type of cloth. Know that the microfiber cloth will last for a longer period of time than a traditional just cotton cloth. You will be needing a pencil to make some markings with. You need a measuring tool. You need a sharp scissor, and we need some soil. So starting off, number one, we need to heighten the inner pot here inside of the outer pot, because if we put it all the way down, we have a distance here. So we want to raise that inner pot inside of the outer pot. And we'll be doing that by just using another plastic inner pot here. So first off, we'll try and measure and see how much of this inner pot here do we need to have in the bottom. So I'll just take the measurement here. We need to raise this around 3.5 centimeters. So we just take our pencil here and we'll measure here and see 3.5 centimeters. Now, as you could see, I made markings all around the pot here at exactly 3.5 centimeters to be able to make this cut in a straight line all the way around the pot. So I'll do that using a sharp scissor. There, now we have our distance block, if you can call it that, that is actually going to be put down into the outer pot here, which means that when we put our inner pot inside of here, it's actually raised. Now, another thing we have to do with this is to make sure that the water down here in the outer pot is everywhere in the bottom. You could also make some cuts somewhere around this to make sure that the water can move through here. So we'll just make some cuts like this so that the water can move through. Like that. Now we have our raised bottom, like that. Number two, now we're going to cut some strips off of our microfiber cloth here. Now these strips are meant to be put into the drainage holes in the inner pot here. Now we're going to be planting a Dracaena. Now Dracaenas doesn't drink that much water, which means that I will only be using one strip of microfiber cloth here. But if you know that you have a plant that drinks a lot of water, let's say you have a peace lily, then I would use maybe 2 or 3 of these strips and put them in different drainage holes here. Because the more strips you have, the more water will be pushed up to the soil. But for this, I will only be using one, and you don't have to worry. You can cut the strips wider than the holes here, because you can shove them through there and they will continue to push water up to the soil anyway. So just make some cuts here. Now we have our strip here. Number 3, you use your strip here and you place it inside of one of the drainage holes. Now, I recommend you to use a drainage hole that is close to the side wall of the inner pot. So just use one of those that are in the outer rim of the pot here. You just take it and shove it through. Grab a hold at the other side and just pull it through. Now, what you're going to be doing here is that you want to lay that cloth along the wall of the pot here. Number 4, now it's time to mix the soil. Now, you could be using just standard planting soil because it actually works okay with a Dracaena and with most tropical plants, but the big disadvantage with standard planting soil is that this has a lot of peat in it and it holds quite a lot of water, which could potentially be a problem with a plant that wants to dry out in between waterings. So what we're going to do is that we're going to mix this up with some pumice. Now, if you don't have pumice or if you can't get a hold of pumice where you live, you can also use LECA pebbles. That works fine. Just try and get the pebbles that are the smaller variety. You can also use perlite. That works as well. So whichever you prefer and whichever one you can get a hold of at a good cost. So now we mix up the soil. Now I recommend you to use approximately 70% of standard planting soil and around 30% of pumice, LECA or perlite. This will give you a very good drainage and will help the plant's roots to thrive. Number 5, it's time to repot our Dracaena into the inner pot we want to use for this system. Now, first off, we take some soil mix here and we put it in the bottom of the pot. As you can see here, I'm actually holding the microfiber cloth because I want to put some soil in the bottom, and then we're going to lay down the cloth over the soil, and then we're going to place the root ball from our Dracaena on top of that cloth. Now let's see, we actually have some roots coming out of the pot here, so that's why we can do a repot. Now, if you do not want to repot your plant, if it's not time, if you've already done it, you could actually use this inner pot inside here, inside of the outer pot. And then we would just place the microfiber cloth through one of the drainage holes here, put it up along the wall of the inner pot, and then replace the plant in here. But since we're making a repot, we can actually do this. We can raise the bottom a little bit because we have a larger pot than the previous one here. So we're going to place the root ball on top of that cloth. Now, when you're repotting, I usually try and remove as much of the loose soil as possible, just to be able to get new, fresh soil mix around the roots. So just gently try and remove as much as you can of the loose soil around the roots. Now, most of the soil here is actually quite tangled up in the roots, so I'm not going to do anything more than that. Then we place this on top of that cloth, like this. Now, take a look and see if you are at the right level, because you never want to place any type of plant too deep into the pot, so you get soil around the leaves here, because they will rot and you could potentially kill the plant. So make sure that you are in the right level. If not, I can see here that I have to raise the bottom a little bit more. And then you just continue to repot your Dracena. Try and push the soil a little bit, just a gentle, slight touch around the sides of the inner pot here, so that you know that there are no air pockets left around here. Just slightly, gently push and then fill up with more soil. Now there you have the repotted Dracena, and we have the microfiber cloth coming out from the bottom of the pot. And we know that it is sitting on top of the root ball of the plant here. Number 6. Now it's time to fill some water in the outer pot here. Now we've placed this small created ring inside and in the bottom of the outer pot here. And this is actually going to work to raise the inner pot up from the water. So we never fill water above the line of this ring. So only fill up with water to where that ring ends. Number 7. Now it's time to place our repotted Dracena, and make sure that the microfiber cloth here goes down into that inner ring and down to the bottom of the pot. And then just place your inner pot on top of that ring. Now there you have it, a very simple and easy way of creating a self-watering pot, where you have a water reservoir in the bottom of the outer pot here. You have a microfiber cloth that is pulling that water up to the roots of the plant. If it pulls up too much water, you have the drainage holes in the bottom, so that water will just go down again into the water reservoir. Now all you need to do is just take a look and see, is there water in the bottom of the pot? No, it's dry. Okay, then you just water down here again, place the plant back, and you're finished. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps our channel a lot. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do. Hit the bell as well so you get a notification every time we put up something new. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where you can get sneak previews on upcoming videos and sometimes a little bit more. Now until next time, hej då!